So today's video is going to be a spring makeup tutorial. This is a look that I saw a few weeks ago on Tanya Burr's channel, and I absolutely love her. I love watching her makeup tutorials. She's super talented, and it just really inspired me to go ahead and start wearing this look. Just a really simple, fresh-faced spring look. The thing that's great about this look is that it's minimal products and it's gonna cut down your makeup routine time in half. It's so easy to do, but like I said, it looks really put together, really fresh-faced, really pretty for spring. So everything that you need for this look fits into a nice little makeup bag this size. It's really easy to do touch-ups when you have to take minimal makeup with you, so it fitting in a makeup bag this size makes things really easy. I'm gonna put pictures on my blog so you can have an up-close look at this makeup routine. I'm going to list the products all down below as well as over on my blog in case you want to check that out, and that's at beautybykendrac.com, but I'll put all the links down below. So I think that's all I had to say. I'm really happy to be back making videos. My camera broke for about close to a month. It was gone. So I'm really excited to be back making videos, and thank you for your patience, and let's get started. So I like to use the Urban Decay Pore Perfecting Face Primer. I just find that the consistency of this primer isn't really greasy, and it really absorbs into the skin well. There isn't a lot of wait time to let the primer sit or settle. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that, literally a little bit. I'm going to just pop this kind of around my nose. This is where I tend to get drier, is around my nose area, and then onto the cheeks where my larger pores are. I don't like to put a ton of primer on just because we're trying to cut down on the products. So obviously the next step is going to be applying foundation, and I've been using this foundation for just about a year now actually, and it's the Mercier Silk Cream Foundation. The color that I'm using right now is Rose Ivory. I do use the beige ivory as I get a little bit darker in the summer, but for right now this one is still working. Sometimes I will mix a little of the beige ivory and the rose ivory, but today I'm just going to use the rose ivory. And I'm going to be buffing it in with my Real Techniques buffing brush. This is an amazing brush for buffing this foundation into the skin. Let's use a little bit on the back of my hand and then pick it up with the buffing brush and buff it in all over, starting at the center of the face because that's where you want the most product. And this is such a luminous foundation as well. It just really enhances your natural skin, just gives it a little pick-me-up. Next step, once you have all your foundation buffed in, is to set the foundation. I like to add some setting powder to my foundation, especially in the warmer months, just because it helps seal everything down. I'm going to be using MAC's Mineralize SkinFinish Natural in Medium Plus is my color, and I'm just using the Real Techniques large powder brush. So I'm going to pick up some of this and just kind of pat it into the skin, especially with dry skin. I don't want my skin to look too cakey or too powdery, which can be the case sometimes. If you have dry skin, you know what I'm talking about. The next step you're going to want to do is add some bronzer, and this really just livens up the face, gives it some color. We're not going to really pay too much attention to, doing all the contouring. We really want to just add some warmth to the face. The bronzer that I'll be using today is NYC's Bronzing Face Powder in Sunny. This is a great bronzer. It's matte. It has a beautiful warm tone to it, and it's really inexpensive, so it works great for any budget. And this is actually going to be a dual product for us today in this tutorial. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the large powder brush, the same one that I used to set my foundation. Just going to pick up some of that, tap it off, and then just apply it just underneath the cheekbone. And just along the hairline as well, just to warm up the face. And like I said, you don't need to be too careful about where you're putting it. You really just want to add that warmth to the skin. So to fill in my brows, I'm actually going to be using just this angle brush with the little comb on the end and MAC's Omega Eyeshadow. And then I'm just going to start in at the arch and just fill in the brows. I don't want to add too much to them. So I just fill them in. And then I like to just comb them through lightly just to kind of, I don't know, I just think it like helps everything look a bit more natural. For blush, what I'm loving using again, and I used it all last summer just because they add such a beautiful dewy finish to the skin. And with dry skin, we really do need to use some products to perk up the skin. Having dry skin, our skin can tend to look a bit dull. So I find that these add a nice pop of color and they're really dewy and they just kind of perk up the skin and brighten up the skin. I'm going to be using Maybelline's Dream Bouncy blushes. These are amazing blushes. I love them. They work so well. And this one is in Fresh Pink. The one thing I will say about these is they don't stay pretty and bouncy for very long. I'm going to apply it to the apples of my cheek and then blending back into the temples. So now it's time to move on to our eyes. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to apply an eye primer. And again, I'm gonna go with Urban Decay Primer Potion. I just love this eye primer. It works really well. It's not greasy. It really does hold up all day, and especially in the heat, it holds up really well. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on my eyes with my finger, and I'm just gonna blend in from lash line to brow. So once I have my eye primer applied, this is where the fun part starts, and it's really, really easy. So the first step is to go ahead and grab your bronzer again. This is actually what we're gonna be applying to our eyelid, is the Sunny Bronzer. You can use any bronzer you want. This will work for any bronzer. I would go with a matte bronzer just because the next step is really gonna add that bronzy sheen that we look for over the summer. So I'm going to be applying this with a dome brush, and I'm just going to pick up some of the bronzer, tap it off, and then I'm going to just start on the lid and in small circles work up to the crease, into the crease, and then just up onto the brow bone. And it's just going to add a beautiful wash of bronzy warmth to the eye. Just starting on the lid and then starting in small circles, and I'm just going to add this, and you really don't have to be very careful applying this at all. And you can build this up to have as much warmth as you want. But yeah, so you can see there's just a really pretty wash of bronzy warmth on the lid. And I just think it looks so, I mean, it looks really put together, but it really just looks so effortless, which I love. So once that's done, the next brush you're gonna wanna pick up is like a smudger brush like this, or a pencil brush, something to pull or drag some color underneath the eye, just to create some continuity between the top of the eye and underneath the eye. Just pulling it underneath. Again, you don't need to be too careful, just making sure that the colors connect in the outer corner of the eye. The next step is to grab a powdered highlighter. You can grab any one you want. There's a million of them out there. I'm going to be using MAC's and Extra Dimension SkinFinish in Whisper of Gilt. This was in a collection, so I don't know if you can get your hands on it anymore. But basically, it's just a pretty gold highlighter. You can use any highlighter you want as long as it's powdered. And I'm going to be using the dome brush as well. Pick up some of that, and then you're just going to wash this over top of the bronzer you applied. So just really, it's really effortless, guys. No technique, really. Just make sure you pop it all over that bronzer and you're good to go. I like to apply a little bit of a highlighter to the inner corner of my eye just to brighten things up, and to my brow bone. I'm using this Wet n Wild Color Icon Trio in Walking on Eggshells, and I really just like this highlight color that's in there. So with the smudger brush, I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of it, put it underneath the eyebrow, just to add some highlight and really perk up the eyes. And I don't want it to look too stark, so when I'm done that, I'm just going to take my ring finger and kind of pull some of that bronzy up into that highlight and just kind of like blend it out with my finger. Just like that. And then taking the same brush, put some in the inner corner of the eye, and then just kind of pat it in with my finger. Just adds a little bit more highlight. I'm going to now go ahead and do my mascara and my eyeliner. I actually have a mascara routine video, and to keep this video a bit shorter, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my mascara, but I'll link my video down below. Okay, so I'm back and I applied a little bit of liquid liner and some mascara. I just like the liquid liner with this look. It kind of jazzes it up a bit, and I like the little flick at the ends. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever version of eyeliner you like. If you like a pencil, a gel, a liquid, flick, no flick, it's up to you. But I really do like the look of the eyeliner with the little flick at the end. The concealer that I like using is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I use it in vanilla. I love this concealer. It's so pigmented, so creamy. It doesn't budge. It really covers up the under eye circles. I'm gonna apply a little bit of it under my eye. And this one's running out, so it's time for another one. And then I sometimes blend this in with a brush or just with my finger, works too. The lip color that I love using with this look right now is the NYX Mega Shine Lip Gloss in Dolly Pink. This is just a really pigmented, bright pop of pink. It's so juicy. It just looks so great with this look. And I basically just apply it. So that is it for this tutorial. I hope you guys liked this spring look. I am loving it. It really saves me a lot of time. I can usually, from start to finish, do this look in under 10 minutes for sure. Yeah, so I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.